Hello, and thank you for joining me in this webinar where we will talk about learning agility with your dog, and we'll discuss 4 essential steps to getting started. My name is Niki Drage, and I'm a OneMind Dogs Coach from Australia. Firstly, I'll be giving you some details about how dogs learn, finding a training method that suits both you and your dog, the importance of foundations, and considering your dog's perspective. Let's start by introducing the OneMind Dogs method. At OneMind Dogs, our focus is all on the dog's perspective. It sets us apart that we really focus on teaching people to understand dogs because dogs already understand our method. So all we're going to be doing is teaching you how to communicate with your dog in a way that they naturally understand. I've got a little video for you to show you how our method began and where it came from.
It began when Janita's Border Collie, Tekla, lost her hearing in 2003. There was only one option left: to handle her dog without any verbal commands. And so began a journey of discovery. Learning from mistakes and trying different approaches. What happens if my chest is pointing to this direction? How important is the angle of my feet? What does the position of my hands say? Gradually, Janita, with Tekla's help, learned to understand agility from the dog's perspective. What kinds of signals a dog reacts to on the course. OneMind Dogs is based on dogs' natural behavior. Any dog, from anywhere in the world, will instantly understand us. We achieve good results without a lot of repetition, because for dogs, it simply makes sense.
So as you can see, our method was born in the agility arena, but we have since found it applies to all kinds of dog training and living with dogs, and we would like to share that knowledge with the world. We're going to talk a little bit about how dogs learn. So dogs listen to us because they get a value out of it, not just because they think that you're the boss or you're in charge, or because they think they should listen so that they're not being naughty. It's because something is motivating them to listen. So really the key to successful dog training is knowing what motivates your dog. So I want you to think about, my dog would do anything for what? My dog gets the most excited during the day when we do what? Whatever that thing is, you can use that to reward your dog. And you need to get creative here because it might be something like your dog's favorite thing is to run out the door and go and play in the yard. So then you might be, whatever you're focusing on training, you might do that training and then the reward is that your dog gets to run out the door. It's sometimes a very simple thing that you might not think about. For example, one of my students, her dog's favorite thing was to chase the broom. So she brought the broom to her training sessions, and after it did what we wanted, we would let it chase the broom, and that was its ultimate reward. So if you can find that ultimate reward, you will unlock the key to getting success in dog training. And we focus completely on positive reinforcement. So this means rewarding the good behaviors that you like and ignoring the bad behaviors. We prefer this over forceful methods because the dog gets much more confidence and excitement to try new things when the result is always positive. And if you use negative sorts of methods to train your dog, then they tend to lose a lot of trust. And trust is really the cornerstone to connection with your dog. We're all about building connection, so we want to keep and build that trust up by using positive training methods. And dogs that have been trained with positive methods also are much more open to learning and trying new things and offering behaviors because they know it will end in something good. So success in training is all about how you set up the training from the dog's perspective, and how and when you reward the dog. And I actually have a little video to show you now about my dog, my Border Collie Shay, choosing which reward she would like to work for that day. So she loves toys, but the kind of toys she wants to play with changes regularly. So I like to let her choose at the start of a session.
We're going to do some agility training today, and while we were setting up the course, Shay brought me 4 different toys to choose from. So I'm going to let her choose which one she wants to work for today. Okay, get. The alien.
Oh, no, can't decide.
Oh, the rope.
The rope today.
There we go, the rope is the winner. I like that one because it can fit in my pocket. Good choice. So we like to reward the dogs with what they want to work for, so today it's going to be a rope.
So let's just now move on to how to succeed in training with your dog and how you can be successful. So now let's talk about the best ways to train agility with your dog and to just train your dog in general and have fun together. So as I mentioned before, it's all about how you set up the training session and how and when you deliver the rewards. And these are all things that we cover in every single lesson of our Foundation for Agility program. We're very specific about reward the dog here and reward the dog as soon as it does this, so that you get those results and the dog understands the goal of the exercise straight away. And of course, it's very important to adapt to your individual dog because every dog is so different and the way that they learn is so different. So when you want to start agility, there's 4 essential things to consider. The first one would be, are you going to train by yourself or are you going to train in groups? Are you going to go from home or join a club? I find the easiest way to get started, and I recommend that to anybody who asks me about starting agility, is to start online with, for example, our Foundation for Agility program. The reason for this is those foundation skills that are the absolute most important cornerstone to success and fun in agility need to be trained in very short sessions over several days. So repeated regularly, but in 2 to 3 to 4 minute sessions, that's it. So it's much easier to do that at home as part of your daily routine. The extra benefit is that you can train when and where it suits you, and you train at your dog's own pace. So you know how your dog is succeeding and you know what it needs to do next. So our foundation program has some very easy to follow lessons that are step by step in a list, and you can mark them off as you complete them as well. So there is absolutely no guesswork involved, and you have peace of mind that you're training the right things in the right steps. I've got a little screen recording here to show you what the program looks like as well. So you can see here the list of all the different lessons. And then if we click on one, you can see how it looks here. So there's the video of the actual lesson first up here. And they're very detailed videos, so I'll just skip through a couple of points to show you a little bit of what's shown. So there's somebody doing the exercise, and then slow motion with notes on what to focus on for the dog, how to reward the dog, and then some graphics on how to do the exercise. Then we mention what you'll need, what the goal is of the exercise for you and the dog, a little summary with photos, and what to do if you can't make it work as well. And then at the end, you can mark it complete. And there's this chat bubble down the bottom in case you need any help along the way or want to ask any questions. We are there and you can just ask us. So one of the best parts of being part of the Foundation for Agility program is that you can ask questions along the way at any time. So there's no need to Google or to get hundreds of different opinions about what the correct thing is to do next. We are there. You can just ask us and follow all those steps there as well. So you do get coach support, and you can even send in videos of the exercises if you're having trouble and you can't figure it out. Just video your training and send it to us and say help, and we'll give you some feedback over the video and send it back to you to show you what's happening there. So that's some of the great parts about online training. And then the other option is group training with a local club, for example, or a group of friends. This is quite important if you're planning to compete in the future. If you really want to succeed in agility competitions, you'll need to practice on different kinds of obstacles and in other environments with other dogs and people around that are also training. So my recommendation would be to start with the online training, get some solid foundation skills for you and your dog, and then take it to a new environment, such as a local club or a training group. If you have none of that nearby, you can always also just go to a local park and bring some equipment with you. You don't need much equipment to practice most of the foundation skills. So that's a really easy way to practice agility in a different environment with other people and maybe dogs around as well. If you do get to join a club, you will also get to meet other like-minded people. So that's another benefit of training in person. But of course, there is no need to choose one or the other. You can do both for sure. There are many different ways to learn agility with your dog. And a lot of it depends on your end goal and what you want to achieve in agility. If you're just doing it for fun and a great activity for you and your dog, there is no reason to join a club and train with other people. You can just do it online at home. But if you really want that social aspect of it, then it's great to do both. And supporting your live training with online training really accelerates the learning and keeps it really fun for you. So the second essential step of getting started is to find a training method that suits both you and your dog. So wherever you train and whatever training you choose to do, it's really important to make sure that it feels good for you guys and that both you and your dog are always having fun. It's very important that the trainer is always considering the dog's perspective in each session. How is the dog feeling motivated? What is the dog getting out of it? Is it easy for the dog to understand? What will you do if the dog doesn't understand? How will you adapt? All those things are really important to keep things fun for your dog and keep the motivation right. And it's also really important that there is a big focus on building that connection together with your dog, because that is the cornerstone to success in any dog training. The third essential step is that I really want to highlight the importance of foundation training. As I mentioned before, having really good foundations makes everything so much easier later on. A lot of people think agility is just about taking obstacles, but it couldn't be further from the truth. The obstacles are actually one of the easier things to train in agility. It's much more about the connection and getting that communication together. That's the most important thing that will lead to agility course running being much easier later on. And when you have those good foundation skills and your dog listens and responds to your handling, you're reducing the risk of any injuries and also of the dog getting frustrated and losing all its motivation. The best thing about those foundation exercises is you can do them at the park, you can do them at home, you really don't need any equipment at all, and you can just put them into your daily walks. So you could, for example, practice a lot of the exercises that you'll see in that program just as a part of your walk with a tree, for example. It's that simple. Now, I do have a video that will show you one of our coaches doing the foundation skills with their puppy, and then how that skill built into being useful on the agility course later on in competitions and in course running. So there you could really see how such a simple exercise that you could do anywhere with a bunch of trees, it doesn't have to be jump wings, later on makes agility so much easier. So even though you have an end goal in mind, it's really important not to rush straight there. And that's a very common thing that us humans do. We know what we want and we want to achieve it quick, but you'll never get as good of a results as you would if you really focus on building those foundations carefully from the beginning. So the last essential step I want to talk about is considering your training from the dog's perspective. So by that we mean, how does your dog see every single exercise? And this is something we really break down in our foundation program. What parts of your body language is telling them what the goal is? Are you making it easy for them to understand and to get it correct? Because when dogs fail too many times, they very easily go, nope, this is not for me, I'm not interested, and they will run off and go and do something else. So it's very important to make it clear and easy for your dog to understand from their perspective. And when something does go wrong, I don't want you to think of it so much as a mistake, but more as your dog giving you information. So your dog is your best coach. They will say, this is how I understood the exercise. So then you will think, okay, how can I change the exercise to make it easier for you to understand? What can I change in my body language or the way the course is set, the exercise is set up? It's really important to adapt to your dog's behaviors and to how they respond to the exercise rather than getting frustrated when something goes wrong. And don't forget that if you don't know how to adapt the exercise or you can't figure out what's going wrong, you can always click the chat bubble anywhere on the OneMind Dogs website and we will be more than happy to help you. If your dog is starting to lose motivation a little bit or is not that interested in an exercise, remember to think about, what is my dog getting out of this? What is motivating them to achieve this goal? Are they enjoying themselves? If not, what can I change to make sure that they are? Maybe your sessions need to be shorter, maybe at a different time of day. And it really also depends on how much you put in, the excitement that you show and the fun that you're having with the dog. That really gives you that ultimate result and really determines what you get out of the training. The more fun you're having, the more fun your dog will have. That attitude from both of you is really important during training. So I hope that that's motivated you to get started with agility. And if you'd like to start our foundation program, you can do so by going to www.onemindogs.com and clicking on Agility Foundations. And you'll see that there are those easy step-by-step lessons. You get that real peace of mind for not having to guess what you should be training next. And if you are stuck at any point, you will get feedback from us either by sending videos or asking questions. So you'll always be on the right track. And don't forget, no matter how you decide to start training agility, the focus should be on having fun together and building that connection with your dog. Thanks for watching.